how quickly do you take action on what you learn, on what you want to do is what's going to separate the difference.
When you hold your word and you keep doing it, you build confidence.
Not until I went to a real mastermind and paid real money to be in the rooms with the right people did I realize like I didn't really have a business.
If you're able to see other people, I mean, it helps you. It's a leverage.
Like go surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, get the knowledge and the know-how from there, and you can see the process and you see that this is working.
The last piece of like the fat that you're trying to get out is the hardest. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fit for Purpose. We got a new guest, special guest, friend, also a partner. We have multiple properties together, and wanted to get him on the interview. So got Alex Casada. Appreciate coming on, bro.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So let's start by telling kind of our viewers a little about you, kind of what you got going on. Let's start there.
Okay. I've been in real estate for 12 years, full-time. I started with wholesaling real estate, single-family residential, did a bunch of deals, properties, started to, all through educating myself, a lot of education, learned how to do this from a radio ad, bought courses and books, implemented everything, took a lot of action, and then brought my brother into the business. Slowly, kept on doing wholesaling, and then meeting the right people for private money, educating myself more with creative financing. I started picking up properties with creative financing, buying assets, holding assets in 2017. That's also when I had my first daughter. So I had a different mindset of like, I need to hold stuff for long term. And so
that like boosted you.
For sure. And especially with having a daughter.
Yeah.
So I had that happen and started buying properties, holding properties. We bought a self-store, a mobile home park with private money and bank financing, and that deal was going great, and we just started picking up assets and started really continue to educate ourselves and go to events and mastermind groups and just creating a real business. So like started hiring our own first people, our own acquisition agents, our assistants, building up a company, and then as soon as we got to a point where, you know, over that time period, I bought more mobile home parks and more apartment buildings, but when I really got it where my brother essentially took over my wholesale business and I was out of the day-to-day is when I really got involved with you, doing self-storage and, building that up. And now I have purchased 11 self-storage facilities, I think 8 of them with you. And, looking to do more, scale up that business and every other business we have as well.
Yeah. So you heard that. That's a lot going on with this guy. So Vault Ventures really consists of single-family, commercial, creative financing deals. How many single-family have you picked up?
I've been selling off a lot of my junk, a lot of like things that have
at a profit.
At a profit for sure.
Yeah.
Properties I've owned for several years. You know, obviously when you get started, you're buying cheaper stuff because it doesn't take as much capital. Most of it has been through creative financing. I've picked up, definitely over 100 single families. Sold a good chunk of them. Starting in 2020, and just started selling off properties and picking up and taking capital, setting aside, and reinvesting in my business and myself. And we have done that for several years, and we continue to do that. Like my plan is to always be selling properties and always be buying assets.
Yeah.
So I can always liquidate stuff and pocket $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 at any given time. So I'll always be looking to do that, and that's my plan also with self-storage.
Yeah. And obviously he's done well. We're in, how many square footage is this office?
That's like 5,000.
5,000. Well, I mean, that's pretty big for a lot of people. Most people got, 1,700, 2,000.
Actually, I think it's like 3,800. We pay 5,000 a month.
Oh, okay, 3,800. I mean, it's still really big if, you guys could see the back, but obviously you see the wall. It's kind of like this, I feel like the Google layout, like the Facebook layout, where it's not like so corporate, a really good kind of startup environment, but even though it's not a startup, kind of the Facebook environment.
Yeah, art on the walls and a big open floor with sales team.
Yep. So definitely he's done well for himself, and he came a long way. What would you say attributed really to that, why? What was that fire that, in the beginning or even still now that kind of got you there? Has it changed? Was it the same?
So the fire started, going to, a private school my parents, worked hard to put me into and, seeing like all the other kids and like what they had, and seeing like their parents and like, oh, like these people have like a lot of money. They do like whatever they want, and their kids get whatever they want. Like that was initially what started the fire of like, I want to definitely be able to make a lot of money. And so
And your parents had a lot of money, or
they did not. They worked very hard to put us in private school and give us what we needed. I was definitely comfortable, but we didn't get excess. For sure.
Yeah.
And they worked hard for us, and I had everything I needed, and I was happy. Great kid. But seeing what other people had, I was like, oh, like,
kind of seeing what was possible.
yes, seeing what's possible from other parents, talking to them, seeing what they're doing, and I wanted to go to school to be a stockbroker, do stocks. Also found out that was like 80 hours of work a week, 80-hour work weeks, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like rough. And I had real estate courses in college, and I was able to see like that might be something that interests me. So I was saving money to do real estate. I was actually getting my mortgage license my last senior year of college, and like the mortgage crisis happened, and I heard a radio ad about how to buy houses with no money down. Took that, went to that event, bought the course, went to that boot camp, and then bought everything they sold with the money I saved up to buy a house, and just educated myself and put it into action.
That's crazy. All the money you had to buy a house.
Yeah.
So you were gonna buy. I think that was, but it was a little more easy because you didn't have a family at the time, right?
Nope. I was single, and I had money. I had a good job. I was making great money. I was a top seller.
So it was like a personal choice.
Oh, it was a personal choice for sure. I was a top seller at a travel club, timeshare type business, and I was like, I'm going to start doing this because I don't see a future in this. Like, I didn't really like it, but I was good at it. And then I just said, hey, I was trying to dabble in both. And then when I was like, I couldn't do that because I was out of town 4 or 5 days a week, every single week. So I quit the job, even though I was a top person at the company, and I quit and went all in on real estate.
So speak a little about intuition, gut, and really putting all your chips on the table, because that's not easy for a lot of people to kind of do, to feel something. You had to feel something strong, and then you acted on that.
So in school, like I was good in school. Like I feel like I'm smart.
He was a nerd, guy.
I was.
Nah.
I got a 4.3 GPA, and I played sports, baby.
But you were. It was a business, so it was like math, like a lot of math.
In high school, I had a 4.3 GPA, and in college, I went to I had a finance degree, and I got like A's and B's.
So you were good.
So I was smart. I can implement stuff. I didn't like study. I didn't do homework or anything like that. But like I could understand concepts and apply.
You had that natural capability, basically, of understanding.
So when I went to the courses that I took at that like mastermind boot camp thing, they were literally guys on stage who were like, he's doing his little pitch or whatever, his thing, talking about his life and his path. And he's like, man, I didn't even graduate high school, and I flew here on a jet. I'm like, well, this fucking guy can do it, and like, I got this. So I had full belief in myself. Implementation.
These were factors that enabled you to say, I can do this. So then that's why you took that bet. All right. So evidence of understanding that I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why it's good to have coaches and masterminds and being those groups, because you're like, oh, that guy can do it.
Yeah, it helps you.
I can do it too. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. So that's real big right there, because I think a lot of people, you might not internally understand that for yourselves, or be concerned if you're able to do it, but if you're able to see other people who, a little judgmental in terms of like, hey, if this guy can do it, it helps you. It's a leverage.
Yeah, and even if you get walked down the path of like being like, hey, I'll work for you for free, I'll do something like I want to learn through you. And you see the steps and you see what's possible, and you're like, oh, okay, that was actually
getting
not
closer
that bad.
to it. Getting closer to it.
So you want to surround yourself with other people doing things. So if you don't have the money to pay for a course or a coach or whatever, like go surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, and then get the knowledge and the know-how from there, and you can see the process, and you see that, oh, this is working. Like, it's doing, like, people are making money. This is possible. It's not that hard, but you have to do the work, and you'll see that through it, that people are doing the work to get the result.
So as you were talking about this, I keep thinking that I feel like it's a certain type of person. I know you, so I know you take risk, and you have that characteristic. There's a lot of people who don't, that are like timid, they're scared, and their life resembles that. What type of advice would you give them if you were talking to one of them in terms of like being a little more aggressive with taking what you want.
Yeah, I think it's hard to change somebody like that in that way, but with just words.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think surrounding yourself with the people and seeing what's possible.
Or what they could do, I guess.
Yeah. So as you go around, you're like, okay, this is someone like you. You can see they're doing it. You should be able to do it too. But if that's not enough, then do like kind of like what I was doing, which is like I still kept my job at first, started dabbling in it, and I was like, I can't just dabble. I had to go all in.
Yeah.
And so like if you put yourself aside a cushion or have, I don't think it's good to have a plan B kind of really, but if that's what it takes for you to like kind of get your foot in the door. I've helped many people, firefighter quit his job, and he didn't quit his job and go all in.
Yeah.
He started doing one deal, then another deal, and then he quit his job because he got the proof he can make it happen. Now he's out and a full-time real estate investor now.
So you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to go all
There's
do
multiple
it.
ways.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But you definitely have to push, especially if you really want it.
You have to live outside your
comfort zone. Yeah, absolutely. I guess we can jump around. What's some things you do to get out of your comfort zone? How do you try to keep out?
I think keep pushing back your goals, keep raising the level of like your expectations for yourself and the people around you. Some of the times the people who get you to where you are not going to help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing. I think being in the right rooms with different people like yourself, you've pushed us also to like hire more people and do certain things like that. So, I think surrounding yourself with A players and people who want to succeed, want to see you succeed, and they're pushing themselves, so you constantly push yourself also.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely like on the business side of like how I push myself, beyond expectations or, how I want to see myself.
Yeah. And then we'll definitely talk about other mindset aspects and like fitness and other things that we do to kind of push ourselves out there. But still on the business. Now, obviously, we talked about where you're at and kind of the story there. What are some of the struggles? Obviously, there's a lot of struggles. What are some of the struggles that you had to kind of go through and maybe how you got through it?
Yeah.
What lessons you learned?
A lot of struggles up front.
What are some ones that stand out to you?
The first few years, not until I went to a real mastermind and paid real money to be in the rooms with the right people, did I realize like I didn't really have a business. Like I'm not really tracking numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking at KPIs. I don't even know my KPIs. And those are the things where I constantly tell people that like I am 3 years behind where I should have been because I didn't do things the right way. When I first got asked to be in that mastermind 3 years prior, I was like, I could use that money for marketing instead.
Yeah.
When I actually should have put it into being in the right room, and I'd probably be more far ahead. 3 years, I did the same thing, same amount of deals, same numbers for 3 years. I had fun, I partied, had a good time, but I lived life, but I should have been ahead, and it was not knowing what I didn't know. And so, like, I'm huge on education. I spent $100,000 plus a year on education.
I was about to say a month. God damn.
A year on education. So it's like, I think it's vital. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes is not getting in the right rooms early enough. And then I also feel like not going bigger, faster.
So not getting in the rooms quick enough and not going faster.
Going
basically.
bigger. Like I want to go bigger. Like if I would have went back when I was making money at my job and making good money.
Bigger, like riskier?
Like just bigger assets. Like skip single family, go right to self-storage, multifamily, something bigger right away.
You think sometimes I believe that some of the things, obviously 2020 hindsight, right? But when we look back, all of these things that we went to stacked for us to get to, do you feel like it would have been, you would have approached it the same way if you would have went straight to multifamily and you would have been maybe as confident, or the way you did it naturally where,
I really don't regret what I've learned because like now I have a lot of assets.
Everything added to this. Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So it's good there. But essentially like so many people come to me and they're like, oh, I make good money and I want to start wholesaling. I'm like, if you make good money, all you're doing is replacing one job for another job.
Yeah.
And it ain't a lot of fun. You
Yeah.
can make good money with wholesaling, but people do wholesaling to make money,
Yeah.
to do other things.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you have a good job and you don't hate it to death, you should keep that good job and start dabbling in something bigger.
Yeah.
And I had a good job. I had good money. So I would take my own advice back then and say, go after the bigger assets, the bigger paydays, so the bigger things that really change your life, rather than starting in wholesaling and, making money, building a business, scaling that up, and then, going from there. Where if you have no money, I think wholesaling is a great way to get started.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's how I got into. I think that's how you got into.
Yeah.
That's the best way. I'll always be thankful for wholesaling. But what I've seen a lot is a lot of people get stuck in that trap.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a little different for him because he has a big operation. He scales. He has a whole sales team over here. But I think a lot of people, they can get stuck with like that 4-person team and just the same thing, one deal after another.
Never buying houses, never taking down assets, never buying rentals, never doing rehabs. And you have to do those things. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that perpetual cycle. And I don't want like the biggest wholesale company. I don't want that at all. I want assets.
Yeah.
I'm good with, doing, if we can do $4 million a year, I'm good with that. And I'd rather have a larger self-storage business, a larger holdings, and grow that, focus on that.
All right. So basically going bigger. Wish you would have did it faster, but everything kind of attributed to kind of where you're at right now. Maybe last kind of point for business. How do you manage your time? Time management. Obviously, you mentioned 2-3 different, components of Vault Venture, right? Would you consider that would be umbrella?
Yeah. So Vault Venture is kind of like the overall company.
Yeah.
Quick Cash Offer is our wholesale operation.
Yep.
And then, so the Vault Ventures is more like the investment side.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't own assets in Vault Ventures. We own them in different other LLCs we create. But that's like kind of like the investment
umbrella with all these other companies under. Yeah. How do you manage your time with multiple different type of businesses, ventures, whatever?
So one thing my other business partner drilled into me, he's like, I can't believe you don't use your calendar. And now I live on my calendar. So I love, everything's scheduled. And essentially I schedule underwrite deals for self-storage. My team can schedule appointments with me when they have a self-storage lead that comes in with financials. They put it on my calendar. We go over it and we make offers. But everything's out, scheduled in the calendar. A lot of what I do is, looking at self-storage deals, looking at assets we own, underwriting those, going through that process. And then also I had a call with an investor today. So investor calls, raising capital, those types of things. Talking to lenders, brokers, and that's constantly what I focus on. Now I have plenty of spots that I keep blocked off on my calendar for helping my brother on questions they might have, things they need done.
You got to have free spaces, definitely.
Yeah, I constantly have blocked off things that I don't even go to anymore, little meetings, and I just leave them there, and I never delete them just because it's my block. I know I can go on that call, or I don't have to really actually be on it. Yeah. And it just frees up time for I can take care of everything else that's in the business and our other businesses. And we have leadership meetings every Monday morning with our key personnels, going over our KPIs, each division's KPIs. Mm-hmm. And so that's important. That was something that we just implemented now. Before it was just the CEOs, just the owners, my brother and my other business partner going over our stuff and what everybody else was doing. But then we learned you should actually put those people in a higher position to report their own KPIs and be a part of the meeting and be involved. And so now we changed that up, which is I think is much better. It gives us more clear understanding, a more clear mapped out meeting also. Yeah. So that's been a good change this year. And so we're just trying to keep level up our business and our knowledge of growing a business and scaling up, and it's a process. But
how important is the time management with the calendar, and even thinking about that, even implementing that? How important is that?
I think it changed my life. For the first couple of years, my business partner Scott was like, I can't believe you don't look at your calendar, you don't put things in there. And when I finally made that change, I can't believe I didn't do it. It definitely is a game changer. It's huge. I schedule stuff with my wife. Dates.
I was gonna say that you put personal stuff there.
Vacations, I block out time, to take my daughter somewhere or whatever we're gonna do, and it just makes it so much easier. We just had our second child, and I went to like every baby appointment with my wife. She's got full control of my calendar. She can put things in there also for me and block off dates or see where I'm at all the time, which is important because she knows if I'm like tonight coming home late or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's so clear for her and me. So it's definitely a game changer, and it's definitely like something I would definitely advise anybody and everybody to do is really
does she
utilize
ever
calendar.
like book stuff on the calendar?
Yeah,
for you?
she could book stuff for me. Like she could see like, hey, you know, if she's like a doctor appointment for our daughter, you know,
she can book that. And you can see that.
she could book it, and she could see like where I have space, and then book it for me.
That's
you know?
crazy. 'Cause
Yeah.
I talked to my wife about that. We haven't implemented it, but I thought about that, so I think it's working. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it definitely works. She likes it. She's always aware of what's happening, that I got things going on. She definitely is like, man, I get pinged all the time. Every day I'm getting pings on like new things, but you know, it's part of it, and she's aware of what's going on. So
Nice. So definitely important. Time management is important. If you're not managing your time, you don't know where it's going. So especially if you own a business or if you're trying to get into business, it's something that I think all businessmen need to do. You need to manage your time and make sure that you're spending your time wisely.
100%.
Mindset. We kind of dabbled in that in the beginning, but you mentioned surrounding yourself with A players, you know, who push you and kind of grow and basically give you a better perspective of other different things to kind of push you. What else do you do kind of to, you know, build your mindset, to make it more stronger?
Yeah, I so essentially big on goals, big on affirmations. Definitely changed my life. My life I'm living now is everything I wrote, you know, 2-3 years ago before I had it. Even when I wrote the same thing for a couple years because I wasn't getting it.
So what's that process for the affirmations? Do you read them? Do you write them? Do you do both?
Yep.
What does that look like?
Affirmations every morning.
You read them?
I have them memorized essentially.
Okay.
So it's like a.
But you started reading them probably, right?
Oh yeah, I started reading
yeah.
it. I got it from somebody else a long time ago. It's literally the same thing. I kind of like made little changes, but I've literally been saying the same stuff because it's still like so far ahead of like where.
So
I wanna
somebody
be.
starting off, they're gonna write them down.
Write them down. So you can multiple things. So one, obviously, write them down. You know, Google some stuff too. You can figure out, you know, the best way to write it out and copy someone's. I literally copied someone's affirmations. And took them and made it my own. And
Their
that's what
format,
I say.
basically.
Yeah.
And
then wrote it to myself, and I read them every day, every morning until I memorized it. You can also have them, you know, speak it into a speaker and listen to yourself saying it, which is good too. It's like subliminal.
That's crazy. A little freaky just hearing me just say the same thing. I mean,
you can have your wife say it for you too.
Yeah, that might work.
Get in there deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
But then the goals, like reviewing the goals. Obviously, every year we write out like our goal for like where we expect or like what's it like to imagine ourselves at the end of the year, like as if you already accomplished it. So we write our goals in that tense, and then, you know, I'm reviewing those goals every morning. When I write out my goals, I write it originally like for the year. I'm writing out my goals and then a plan for each goal. So if my goal is to have a $4 million wholesale company, what does that look like? How many deals do we have to do? What's the price per, like the amount per deal, like a plan for each goal. Yeah. You have to make a strategy for each goal. So we do that. I do that, and then I just go over when I review them in the morning. Now I put them on my mirror, copying my partner Scott also. Put them on my mirror. I see them every morning, and I see the goals that we have set up. And so it's always a constant reminder of where we want to go and kind of like what I should be doing for the day.
Yeah.
You know? And so we kind of get lost in like, what's your goal? Like, what are the day-to-day tasks? Like when we got a lot of stuff going on, you're like, am I actually being productive and doing what I need to do?
You can get caught up just doing a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, a bunch of busy stuff, and which does happen, and it's terrible. Sometimes you need to do it, but you got to make sure you focus back on your goals and make sure you're every day working towards something that's going to get you closer to that goal. And so reviewing the goals, the affirmations are huge, and they are a game changer. Like literally speaking your life into existence, knowing exactly what you want and speaking that out into the world is literally the number one thing I think is important for everybody.
Yeah.
I thought it was when I was going to all those courses and boot camps, I literally thought it was like, that section, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. This
Yeah.
is foo stuff. This is like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is weird.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here for 15 minutes and write down my, my thoughts and where I want to go. But then when I actually did it, game changer.
Yeah, and then usually there's a situation that happens, and then you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, you can literally speak anything into existence. I literally spoke my wife into existence. Like,
yeah. Well, you did say that on your wedding day.
Yeah,
too.
but it's true. Like, I literally spoke into existence, and when I saw her, I told my brother that's my wife. And so it's like my whole life from when I started doing this, I have spoke everything that I have in my life. That I have a wholesale business that's automated. I don't have to be here. That we have build a new house on the lake. That my business is automated. That we have self storage. We have this amount of assets. And so like obviously now I'm continuing to push myself to higher goals. But everything I'm writing down, best believe it's going to happen.
And obviously there's a whole bunch of research. Like you can actually go online and actually. There's research behind it. I'm not a scientist. I don't know all of it, but I definitely know, and I implement the same thing. But it's not foo-foo, and I used to kind of think like that, but it's definitely not.
No, 100%.
In terms of so building your mindset, on the flip side, what's kind of the struggles that you're dealing with like right now? What's Alex's weakness? What do you struggle with? It could be anything.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a good number of things. It's, you get into, let's say, lapses of lapses of like doing the same thing. Like
routine.
Like how are we gonna get to do? We own 50 million assets. How can I buy 50 million of assets this year? It's not gonna be doing the same things we've been doing. So I'm trying to do different things, implement those different things. But there's also times what sucks is like getting dragged down by other stuff.
Yeah.
In the business. And then obviously, the book Who Not How, we talked about that a little bit earlier, is like putting the right people in place for them to do that so you can focus on the 20% that actually moves the needle. And, it takes hiring A players. It takes training those people. It's not like an overnight solution, but it's the solution that you need to be in. And so that is a struggle for me to like letting go of some people and hiring better players, top level people.
So aspects of the business.
Yeah, business aspects of kind of going back to what I said, people who get you to this level is not going to get you to this higher level.
Yeah.
And so you need to hire new people and change new people. And we've put some people in place. Like I hired a new property manager who's taken all the stress off of me. We had some not so good people in that position before, and it was like more of a burden for me. Now I've hired a higher level person. She's got it on lock. We have like, I think out of 150 properties or plus she manages, we'll have like 4 vacancies, which is like the best we've ever had. And so like, boom, my A player there. So like just finding those people and implementing that person, I'm looking for like a new higher level EA that's like follows me around. It's like literally in my office, like, and I can pass everything over to her. Cause like I get caught up doing the stuff I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to do those things, but I definitely just need really what I need to do is put in my calendar, block out an hour and a half.
It goes back to that time, man. That calendar.
and block out like I need to hire this person, or we've done it before is like get recruiters and pay a recruiter to find this person for me. And so there's definitely positions we're looking to hire here now. One is a financial underwriter, which I did hire a headhunter for that. The ads just went out, I think, or going out this week. And then the higher level EA person, so I can get more busy stuff off of me and focus on that 20% that's actually going to move the needle to buying $50 million of assets this year.
Got it. Is there any personal struggles? Could be food, could be...
I love to eat food. It's good food. You know, I'm trying to, like, cut weight, be super... I'm probably, like, in one of the best shapes I've been in a while, and lost, like, 15, 20 pounds in the last 3-4 months.
Oh, nice.
But I still like to eat that crap food I shouldn't be eating. And
crap food or good food? Because when we go out, I mean, we got really good restaurants.
But then, yes. But then after dinner, like if I'm having with my daughter,
Dessert
she's like,
and
I
stuff?
want ice cream
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's my weakness too.
oh, I like ice cream too.
Yeah,
I'll take a bite of that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and if she's not gonna eat it all, I'll eat the rest. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to waste it. And
No,
so,
absolutely. Bro. That's my
so like
weakness.
that's the hard part when I'm like, oh, I want to go to
Food,
this way.
desserts, all
Dude,
that.
all
yeah.
the food eating, good stuff.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You
Yeah.
know, so that's definitely the hard part. The working out part is not difficult. I've been lifting the most I've ever lifted, which is awesome. But I
Nice.
also have bad knees, so that's like I push myself to do that, like literally limping around for the last week, but still working out, still pushing myself to do that.
You use wraps, knee wraps?
I don't use knee wraps.
Anything for like weightlifting?
No.
I started using stuff and it's a game changer. It
Yeah?
is. Yeah, I thought it was like old people. Like, look at this guy using this stuff. Now I know why they use it.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I did see like people who were like bodybuilders who would use it, but I'm like, that's because they're buff or whatever. But it does work. It does work. It protects your knees or whatever. I use the back and the knee. And I bought some other things, but I didn't use it. But also you lift more.
Yeah.
So if you put knee wraps and you squat, you can lift way more.
Yeah,
And
should
you
do
use
that.
a belt, you can lift way more. So I recommend that. You should try it, bro.
Yeah,
Because
I'll definitely
you'll
do
save
that.
your knees, man. I can't even imagine trying to like heavy squat with these fragile ass knees. Hell no, bro.
Yeah, I just do like hack squats and like
But still, I mean, if you put some weight on there, you can feel it in your knees.
yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. And you feel it after too.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but when you put the wraps on, it really helps you. You can't really feel it. It numbs out your knees. And like I said, you can put on probably another plate on there. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I need to do that.
I guess while we're kind of dabbling on the fitness, what does that consist of for you? And how important is it? I think for everything that you said earlier.
Yeah, so it's definitely important because the way the world's changing, I want to live as long as possible.
Yeah.
Like there's like so much stuff out there with the AI and technology that you can live to 150.
Yeah.
You might be able to live 200 plus. And a lot of things I've heard is like how you look right now and how you are right now in 10 years, how you are in 10 years, like that can be like frozen in time what you look like for the next 50, 100 years of your life.
10 years from now?
10 years from now, there's gonna have like technology where like it will freeze you in time. Like you can not age anymore after that time period with all the technology and AI stuff that's coming out with the medicines and stuff. And so I want to be the most healthiest person. So imagine like not being healthy and fucking dying right before people can live to 150.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And so like I think, and obviously with my kids and my wife, I want to make sure I'm the healthiest person. I'm there for them.
Yeah.
I provide for them, and it's super important. So like I'm definitely making it a priority, and I've hired, like again with the coaches and surrounding yourself, accountability.
Yep.
I hired somebody, 10 racks for a year to keep accountability with me and track what I'm eating, help me with fitness goals and tracking. They have their own special app and
Basically
whatnot.
everything. Food, fitness,
Supplements,
subs,
everything.
yeah.
And so now I work out 5 days a week. The other 2 days we do like some kind of cardio stuff.
Yeah.
I typically play like pickleball on Sundays with my brother and some other friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
And but lifting weights every 5 days a week. Been pushing myself. I like this little app they got. I can track, see every time I've done this workout, what have I lifted, how much. And so
What is it called?
It's like, well, the group I'm with is called the Starting Line, and it's like their own app. And so,
And you have it on your phone? Is there a name? Or is it Starting
it's
Line?
called the Starting Line,
Okay,
and it's
cool.
like, but it's like you can only get it if you're
Yeah,
a
you're
member
part
with
of the
them.
group. So their own app.
It's their own app, and it's super dope and tracks everything. And I track my food, everything I eat. I track everything now. So
Where
it's a
you
little-
track your food.
on MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, fitness pal. Yep.
And so then that connects with their app.
Yeah.
And so it's like super easy, and it's a little bit annoying sometimes. I'm like, oh, what did I eat? Like especially when you go to restaurants, stuff like that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But I would admit,
it
bro,
helps.
Fitness Pal is an amazing app because like you'll find it. You can find it.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? Or something very similar.
Yeah.
It's basically an app that helps you track your macros, your macronutrients on, your protein, your fats, your carbs, and based on what you eat. And like you can scan stuff, or you can just type it in and search. So it's truly amazing. I use that every day.
Yeah, and I have some of my team here. They use Chef Natalie, and she, on
It's
her
an
meal
app?
she puts no, she puts like she's a chef, and so she'll for Central Florida, she's really good. The food's good, and she'll put like the macros on there. And so
she meal preps.
she'll meal preps for us. Yep, and then
gotcha.
so I order those now, and it has all the macros on there, so I can just add it to the app,
Yeah.
and then every time they rotate the stuff, I can just boom, it's already
Yeah,
saved
yeah,
in there. It's
yeah.
easy. So
So there's ways to get around it.
Yeah,
There
it's
should be
helpful.
no excuse in terms of, I got to make my own food. I don't have no time. That's usually what people say and stuff like that.
yeah, meal prep is definitely helpful, especially if you get someone else to do it for you, and it's fucking easy.
Yeah. So, so you're good on your food, your workouts, sups. You're doing the whole nine.
I'm doing
So-
everything right now, so
Obviously, to stay healthy. Does it help with business? Does it help with grinding?
it definitely helps with business because it gives you more energy. You feel better about yourself. I think overall, and it's just discipline. So the discipline you have with your health is the same with your business. For me, I've always been pretty good with the discipline for my business. The health is where I've always
Yeah.
slacked. Like when my business needs something, F my health. Like I'd be
Yeah.
like, F the gym. I'll go to this property 5 a.m, skip the gym, go the next day back to another property, skip the gym, and do that. Where I don't do that anymore. I try to make a priority. If I'm gonna skip the gym in the morning, I make sure I put it in my schedule. I'm gonna work out at night.
Yeah.
So I just definitely make it a priority, and it's definitely a game changer for me, and it's helped me. I've slimmed down and trying to get overall better muscle composition.
What's the is there like a actual specific goal that you're trying to get?
Trying to get to 190 and be like 10% body fat or less.
Trying to be shredded a little on the
Shredded.
rib side,
Yeah.
and then have obviously muscles.
Yeah. I was like 230. I'm 210, 11 right now.
So you're dropping.
And then just looking to drop another 20, which is, takes time.
One thing that I would say is the last piece of like the fat that you're trying to get off is the hardest.
Oh, for sure.
That is the hardest, especially with the food. In the beginning, it comes off,
Yeah.
and then that last like whatever 20 pounds or whatever 20%. That shit is the hardest, bro. Your body, you have to try new things. You might have to shock your body. Your trainer probably knows all that.
Yeah. Like I fasted before, and so I was literally going to message my guy because I've been like stuck at like 210. And he's like,
For how long?
For like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's like, because we take pictures every week. He's
Yeah.
like, you can see the changes in your body week after week. It's okay that you're saying 210. You're probably gaining more muscle. Da da da.
Well, I went through that too, and he's right about that. Like,
Yeah.
because you're going to be building muscle, which is weight.
Yeah.
So, I would say, because I went through the same journey, and I'm still going through the same journey. It's a lot of psychological thing, bro. Because like you got feelings about your body, you have that aspect, like how you look, like how you feel today, and then also weight. Like, hey, I'm not dropping. Like, you feel good when you're dropping weight at like 0.5 every day. You're dropping, you're like, you feel good, you feel better that day. And then when you don't or you gain, you're having a bad day and shit. But it could be so many other things.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened to me too, where me at the same weight, I look completely different. But it wasn't until my trainer sent me both of the pictures at the same weight, But yeah, you're right, because water and then also muscle, if you're working out, you're building muscle, you drop fat, you think you have to come down more, but actually you still lost fat, but you have muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit of a mind.
Yeah.
know?
It is, bro. It's crazy. But that's good, and that's also builds mindset. That also builds discipline. It's tough. Obviously, not a lot of people do that shit. So, and it does help with business. It does help with you personally. It helps, I would say, with kind of like the foo-foo stuff too. Like in terms of like you were talking about like affirmations and like putting that energy out there. It helps with that when you feel better and you feel stronger.
Yeah. And you commit to it. So like your mind, you can, screw up your thinking when like you commit, when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it. It's like a penalty to your brain. So like anytime you like say stuff and you
when you go back in your word.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's how you lose confidence too.
Yeah.
You lose confidence in yourself, and then little by little, and you think it's nothing in the beginning when you're just like, but you lose confidence in yourself. But opposite, when you hold your word and you keep doing it, you build confidence. That's exactly how you build confidence.
Yep.
So
exactly.
So obviously on the fitness, what's the struggles?
On the fitness?
Yeah.
So I got bad shoulder, bad knees, and obviously I'm going to talk to my trainer about this coming up because I've been lifting heavier and heavier. So now I lift by myself. I don't work out with anybody else, which I think it would be better if I could work out with somebody.
Yeah, you should definitely rotate.
You know,
but you don't got to do it all the time because I kind of like it. I get in my zone.
Yeah, I'm good by myself for sure.
But I noticed that I have like a really good workout when I work out with somebody, and you tend to sometimes. I mean, most of the time you'll put more weight
for sure, 100%.
when you work out with somebody.
Yeah. So like I do like the incline dumbbell press, and so like I'm like at 85. Yeah, and just lifting it up to my shoulder, I'm like, fuck, like that hurts more than the actual press. I can press it, but lifting it up just to get it up is like, damn, I need to work out.
How do you lift it up?
Yeah, like I kick it off my leg.
Yeah, you got to kick it off.
But even then, like my shoulders are messed up.
Well,
so
at a certain weight, you need somebody.
Dude, for real. So I'm like, yo, I can't go beyond 85. Like I feel like I need to drop back down to 80 and not do any more than that, and just stick there and just do more reps because I can't do it by myself. I don't like want to tear my shoulder because I'm trying to just lift an extra 5 pounds or something.
It's two things. One, you definitely need somebody. Hey, yo, come over here. Let me help you out real quick. Sometimes you got to do that. Yeah. But you can't do that all the time. So then you might have to switch out to like the bar or something like that. Yeah. Because dumbbells at a certain point, you need to get it. You need help to get it up there. Yeah, even on the bench, like that's why some people like they'll help you get it off the the bar because that's the hard part,
100%, yeah. So that's like the only real struggle. And then right now with the new baby, it's a little bit of struggle like with sleep, and so the sleep aspect is terrible because like if I don't get sleep or I'm up every 2 hours, the waking up on time to go to the gym is a factor. Yeah. And then taking my daughter to school and things like that. So just trying to squeeze in. So sometimes I've overslept because I didn't get good sleep, and then I'll just work out at night. So that, is a little bit of an issue, but it will only be for the first couple months. So just got to bear through it.
Yeah, got it. And for people who don't know, he just got a new baby girl, second. And you said you were trying for your third? You're going to try for a third?
Not yet. We are.
The 2 girls scarred him. So.
Wanted the boy, but now I'm after 2. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I might be happy with 2. So we'll see.
As we wrap up for some final piece of advices to the audience out there, it could be mindset, it could be business, it could be fitness, whatever you want. Something that truly, maybe looking back when you first started, something that really truly, like if you just had to give them 1 piece or 2 pieces of advices that really made an impact in your life, what would you say to them?
So if you've heard me speak before, it's kind of like the same tip I always give. It's speed of implementation. So how quickly do you take action on what you learn, on what you want to do is what's going to separate the difference. So speed of implementation on an idea, that's all it takes. So immediately you start reading a book, you're like, oh, man, that's a good idea. You write it down. Like, take action on that step instead of, like, reading the rest of the book. Yeah. Anything you learn, take action immediately. Take the first step on whatever you're learning. So, like, 100%, my always tip is speed of implementation. Don't wait, take action immediately, take massive action. And I think that's literally the difference, because once you get going and you gain momentum, it can really set you up for where you want to go. Yeah. And so if you sit back and read the whole book and take a month or, listen to the whole course or whatever, you're just wasting time. And the quicker you can get started, the better for you. And, learn along the way, read the book along the way, but get started immediately. So I always say speed of implementation.
Nice. Where can everybody find you, man?
You can find me on all my social medias. It's alex.theinvestor.quesada, Quezada. And we have a YouTube channel. We give out a lot of information. We do case studies on our storage deals. A lot of info on there. And then Instagram, and social media, and everything else.
Yeah, go check him out on IG. I mean, he's popping. He's throwing content all the time. Got a lot of informational stuff in there. Great stuff. So go check them out, guys. Appreciate staying tuned into the podcast. Till the next one.
Bang, bang. And if you're still there, you should go to YouTube and watch the videos with me and him. They're amazing.
They're funny.